Okay.
Okay.
Mm.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello. Why are we having this video? So the purpose of this video is basically for us to talk about our Egypt trip in November this year. Yeah, that we will be both of us will be co-hosting. And yeah, so we'll be sharing some of the themes that came through, how we got to meet each other, how so many things happened. Um Yeah, and I was listening to your voice message this morning. Then I realized that from our first Egypt trip together until now, it's like less than half a year.
Yeah, I didn't
But
properly count it, but it felt like a year already.
yeah, it feels like so long. Like so many things happen, and then you also did your own Egypt trip, and da 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 da. Yeah, so
Yeah, I mean, when you started to talk, I was like, oh, there's so much coming through that, like, wants to be shared already. So yeah, it's just a casual conversation. It's not really like an interview. I think from our side, we just wanted, I guess, people who are interested in this trip to get to know us, to feel into our energies, our frequencies, and whether, we are of the same wavelength. Because I think a
mhm.
trip like that is, to me, this trip to Egypt specifically, especially after the March trip I did, it feels like a very sacred pilgrimage. That it is not just a vacation. I mean, there are a lot of tour agencies out there that are doing trips to Egypt. So, how is this different to those agencies and those programs? We will have a lot of private visits. That's the first thing that differentiates it. I
Kind of
think
escalated.
kind of
Yeah.
escalated quickly. Um, I think for these private visits, they are very important, because when it's a public visit, it's the energy is very different because there's the energies of so many different people, like hundreds of them in the place, that it sort of, what's the word? Not cover, but like lay over,
Layer. Yeah.
like, yeah, layers of energies, so much so that certain people come and certain groups are very like rushed. So you feel into a lot of those energies, and then the divine original template of the energy and the function of the temple sort of is very, very subtle. So the private visits are, I guess, important because it's for us to be there present, just the energies of us and the temple, to then receive what we need and do what we need to do. Yes. So that's, do you
Yeah.
have anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, especially for Karnak and Luxor, when I did my trip in November last year, those weren't private visits. And
Yep.
then those are like really huge temples. You can really just feel all sorts of like other people's energy, and then different areas got different groups and then different energy. Then you'll be like, what's the energy of this place? What am I supposed to feel here? Yeah, what are we
Yeah.
meant to do here? Yeah.
Yeah, and,
And
and
so
especially since I was also on a November trip with you that you hosted. And then the March one, I did private visits to Karnak and Luxor. So I really
mhm.
could feel, maybe not so much for Luxor, but for Karnak really specifically, I could feel it's very different when there's so many people versus when it's just us. Yeah, so just wanted to say that, add
Mhm.
to that.
Yeah, yeah. So last year I had four private visits. And then so Temple of Isis, Temple of Hathor, the Sphinx, and also the Great Pyramid.
Pyramid.
Yeah, and then for March you added on Karnak and Luxor. Yeah, and
And
then
then
so
this
there
time,
was six. Yeah, this time there'll be seven. Yeah, the Osireion, right, at Abydos. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
which, um it's very important, I feel, because the past 2 trips we did were feminine, like all were females on the trip. And this time, well, okay, where do we even start now? Because the why is it now a mixed group, and the significance of it. I think we should talk about that, because for me, I don't know about you, but for me it was at the Sphinx. When we had our private visit, we finished and we were standing outside, just outside where the public visits are, where people can only see from from the
Yeah.
peripheral. We're standing there waiting for our bus, and I remember just looking at it, and then I was there with you. You were beside me, and you said something about the Sphinx giving you a word. I think the word was courage, if I'm not making this up in my brain.
Correct,
So,
yeah.
so you told me that, and somehow when I was standing beside you, I already knew that, okay, we are gonna do a trip together.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, I had a feeling, but I didn't really say it yet, because I wanted to sort of let that message sit with me for a while, because I didn't know whether that was coming from fear, because I was thinking, okay, is this trip just a trip that I'm supposed to do alone, or is it really meant to be the both of us? And it's the first time that I will be doing it. Well, back then I didn't know I'll be doing a March one, so it's funny turns of events.
Yeah.
At that point, I didn't know the March one was coming. So I had a little bit of hesitation and a little bit of fear, like, oh, doing this trip, it's the first time I'm going to be doing this in a foreign land, and how is this going to be possible? So I didn't tell you, but then towards the end of our trip, I think it was the last day or something, and then you told our guide, oh, I already received a message that I'm going to do this in November of 2025. And that was when I think I might have already told you beforehand, or that was when I was like, yeah, like this is the trip that
you didn't tell me. You didn't tell me before that.
No?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. The timelines are like very, very blur now. But that was when I got another confirmation that, okay, this is the trip that we're supposed to do together. Yeah. So that's the first time. Well, that's the first message I got was actually at the Sphinx. What about you?
Yeah, actually, I also got the first message at the Sphinx. It was during the private visit, so before both of us were at the peripherals with all the other tourists. So the rest of the participants were still between the paws of the Sphinx, taking picture, doing whatever. And then I kind of went out. I just felt that I needed to be away from everyone, and I was kind of in one of the corners, like on the stairs or something, still within the private area. And I was just looking at the Sphinx, and I just saw with my mind's eye that its original look is actually a lion. I saw a lion, and it was looking at me, and it gave me the word courage. And it said that always have the heart of a lion. Yeah. And that really resonated with me, because actually after Egypt, I had to go to Middle East for 3 months alone. Yeah. That was the calling for me. And maybe there was some part of me that was like a little bit uncertain, a little bit scared. So that really resonated. And then after that came through, what I got was the knowing that I needed to bring another group to Egypt, November next year, which is this year, 11 people. And it would be a mix of men and women. Yeah. So last year it was like 9 women, 9 days. And now it's like 11 and like, yeah, men and women both.
Yeah. So okay, now I guess we'll lead into the 11/11 thing. Well, it's very funny how this whole thing unfolded, because you received the message that it would be 11 people through the 11/11 portal, right? So the dates were pretty much already fixed, 1st of
Fixed.
November to the 11th of November. where the whole journey will culminate at the Sphinx and the Great Pyramid private visit on the 1111 portal. So then I didn't receive such details yet because I guess the universe or goddess Isis had other plans for me. So after our
Right.
trip, went home and then meditated, and then suddenly there was this message that came super urgent. You have to do a trip in March and you have to bring 9 women again. When I got that message, I was like, am I hallucinating? Like, what's going on? Why 9 women again? And it's interesting to see how your trip sort of built the skeleton for this March trip. And I think our trip in November last year, or the one you hosted, the March one I did, and then this one that we're doing, they're all sort of interlinked. It's a prep for the next one, for the next one. So you mentioned that you received message from Goddess Hathor, right?
Yeah.
That was how you received the message to bring 9 women to Egypt for 9 days. And for me, it was Goddess Isis who brought the message through. And then I guess along the way, after this whole March trip finished, and it was during the March trip, the message already came. I remember messaging you. I was like, it's not 11 in the total group. It's supposed to be 22 because I'm supposed to bring 11. You're supposed to bring 11 including us. So technically it's 10 people from our own communities, and it has to come together. And I remember our first call when we were on Zoom and we were talking about this trip. Remember our first call? And we were like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah,
what do
yeah,
we
yeah.
feel about, the theme of this trip? The message, or rather the words that I got, was harmonization and unification. And then the word that you got was convergence. So you told me, remember this word because I will forget. So I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay. But I didn't write it down, but somehow it was just there. And it made so much sense when throughout the March trip, then the message came about the 1111. I'm just laughing because there's so many signs of 1111. 1111 at the Great Pyramid, 11, people from 2 of our communities.
Yeah.
It's the convergence and the harmony. So along the way, more messages came about the convergence of duality into non-duality, which is why the male and the female in this group, the mix of genders, and also the convergence of communities that will come together. We're moving into a paradigm shift, I guess. Well, people call it the golden age, the new earth, and the templates of the new earth is unity consciousness. And then more information came through along the way recently about how in this new age, or in a sense this new earth, the way that we work, is the way that we even come together, is going to be very different because there's a lot of collaboration. There are a lot of sealed codes, in a sense, or information that were sealed during the ancient civilizations, during Atlantis, during ancient Egypt, even the Mayan times. Like all of these ancient elders and civilizations and timekeepers, wisdom keepers are coming up, and they are sort of the guardians of this information. And even these temples, sacred sites, not just in Egypt. You've been to many in Middle East, and even in Greece when I was there were so many. And it felt to me that these sites, these land, they hold the codes of what we're ready to remember, because humanity has sort of reached that threshold, and the time is now, we're ready. So no one person is going to have all of these codes, because that's not how it works in the new earth paradigm. It's where everybody have access to our own, and we're supposed to come together to sort of piece the puzzle together. So that's why the convergence, the harmony, and the unification is the core theme of this trip.
Yeah, very well put. Yeah, even like throughout the process of us working on this trip together, it's like sometimes you will get something and then I'll get something and then like you'll get something and I'll get confirmation. You know, it's like piecing something together, like solving this puzzle, solving this mystery. Yeah, and I feel that in bringing these two groups of people together, we will be able to, I guess, foster the kind of sense that in this new earth, it will be collaboration and not competition. Yeah, and that's a very, very big part of this trip is to understand this because we have been programmed to feel that, oh, like if I'm in this line of business and you are also in this line of business, we are competitors, you know. Yeah, but I mean that's outdated already lah. So
Yes. Yes,
yeah.
that was something that I got actually also recently. Yeah, it's very refreshing to do this trip together, because I feel like we're actually anchoring in the templates of what it's like to collaborate with someone in the same line of work. In the past, when I collaborated with others, there would always be this a little bit of that. Oh, I should I be careful of what I promote? Like, would this sort of affect the other person? What would he or she think? The split of money and all of these things. It was always there. But with you, I feel like since day one, when I met you, the lines are not there at all. And it's very refreshing because it shows me that this is possible. That, not everybody not everybody understands, but some actually do. And they trust this process so much. There's so much trust that it's okay. I mean, like, what can go wrong? It's like, it's almost impossible that, for example, you want to take advantage of me or I want to take advantage of you. Like, that thought isn't even there, which, yeah, something that I'm experiencing for the first time. And especially this trip is not small. It's like 22 people. And
It's
the
huge.
handling of money, there's a lot of money that we need to pay to our local agency that is supporting us. Even when I would sometimes, I pay for it and then you pay for it, so we have to settle all these things. But I never once felt the fear of, oh, what if Peh Linde doesn't return me the money?
What if I
I
cheat
just
your
know.
money?
Yeah, I just know someday it will come, right? Like, it doesn't have to be now, but someday. And I know, and I trust, and that timeline or that reality of something bad will happen is not even there at all. Yeah, so I think this whole thing is anchoring the whole how we do business. Well, this whole business thing is also something that we talked about. Our exchange of conversations every day, 30 plus minute,
Yeah.
1 hour voice messages about the new earth way of working. So yeah, that's a conversation for another day. But yeah. Oh yes. Okay. So as I was talking about the whole why it sort of makes a lot of sense now to me is when I was in, because I said like the trips are one layer and then the other one is the other layer, but then it's kind of converging all together on this trip. And I believe that in future trips, all of these trips that we will be doing is also working or sort of adding towards it. And there are also so many people who are being called to Egypt, not just us, like so many, which is very interesting to observe that many people, whether you call it starseeds or grid workers or energy workers, they're feeling the pull towards Egypt. So a lot of us are going there to clear. There's so much layers and overlays from the time it was built to now, going through the dynastic Egypt time, and then the priest and the priestesses timeline, and then religion, and all these so many overlays. So we're assisting to clear all of this to bring back the original template of these temples and these sites. So when Hathor came to you, and then Goddess Isis came to me, I think I did mention to you that there are three beings guiding this trip: Goddess Isis, Goddess Hathor, and Thoth. So after our trip in November, Thoth kept coming up in my meditation. And he doesn't say anything. He doesn't speak. His presence is just there. And I would always ask, do you have something to say? Hello? Hi, I know you're here. Do you have something to say? And he's always just silent. But his presence is always there. And the emerald tablets also kept coming along with Thoth. But again, I don't know what about it, because he doesn't speak a word. So I got so frustrated. I was like, okay, you keep coming up, but you don't say anything. Like, what am I supposed to do with you, right? So I just let it be. He's just hanging out in my awareness. And after my trip in March, coming back, integrating, it then dawned on me that, oh, a piece of what Thoth was trying to convey is also about the fact that we're here to piece things together. Because I'm not sure where I heard this from, but the Emerald Tablet, pieces of it's being scattered all around the world, and it feels to me that it's a cryptic message that everyone going to these, feeling the call to these ancient sites, are receiving certain codes from a piece of that Emerald Tablet. And then when we come together, we're sort of piecing it together. And that's the purpose why it has to be scattered. Because if humans, we haven't yet learned and embodied unconditional love, which is the template of the new earth, if there's still greed, if there's still the desire for, self-interest, like for power, for control, if there's still fear and all these things, then if this sacred piece of thing is whole and one person reaches it, it's possible that history will sort of repeat itself in terms of the fall of these ancient civilizations. That's why it's being sort of taken apart and put into different places, and only different people can come together. Different people receive different codes, and then we come together to put it together. So
yeah, it's not just like you mentioned, many different groups of people are being called to Egypt. And it's not just to clear, but it's also to remember.
yeah,
Yeah. Like the remembrance of our divinity, the remembrance of our past, like how things could be, and the remembrance basically of the new earth that is actually already in us, but we have temporary amnesia. And so we need to help each other piece our memories together. Yeah. And you were talking about Thoth. I think I haven't told you this yet, but a couple of days ago, he also appeared
new
in my
information.
meditation. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually nothing much lah. Like you said, he's quite a quiet guy, and he didn't say anything, so he was just there. Then I'm like, okay, bro, like, why are you here? What do you wanna tell me? What do you wanna give me? And I just felt my body floating. Like, you know when you're on the surface of the water and you're just like bobbing up and down. I felt that he was giving me some form of like water coats. And I was very thankful. I was like, okay, I'll need that for Bali because I'm gonna learn free diving, and I'm like, I don't know what will happen. I may like freak out or something, but yeah, maybe he gave me something, and yeah. And that reminded me of the Atlantean Codex also. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that you mentioned there's this Atlantean stone in the Karnak temple that we'll actually need to gather at. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I haven't heard of people talking about it as an Atlantean stone, to be honest.
Oh,
Our
okay.
guides, huh? Yeah, so basically in these temples there will be a stone. And the stone is always in the Holy of the Holies. What the stone was originally, I have no idea. But the stone has energy and we'll feel it in Isis temple. So the reason why Karnak always has a link to Atlantis for me is because even before I went to Egypt and got a very strong knowing that I will visit Egypt someday. This lady, I have no idea how she found me, probably through my YouTube videos, but somehow we were texting, like on a messaging platform. I don't know how I gave her my number. Usually, I'm very careful of who I give my number to. So somehow we were texting, and then one day she's in Egypt. She was in Egypt, and then she texted me and she said, "There's this Atlantean stone in Karnak Temple. I'm in Karnak Temple now, and I feel like I need to activate it for you." And I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa!" This escalated quickly. Okay, sure. Then was when I started. It was the first few times I started to have memories of my life in Atlantis, and there were a lot of pain. There were a lot of trauma and stuff that I have to go through. The fear of the ocean and things like that. So she said she sent me a couple of voice messages as she was doing, like she was connecting to me and the stone, and the first thing that she told me was, I sense a lot of water. There's a lot of water around you, and you need to heal that in order to move forward. I don't exactly remember what other stuff she said, but that was the thing that resonated at that moment with me the most, which makes a lot of sense now because even for this March trip, I had dreams of like a group of women in robes, white robes, sitting in a circle in a dome underwater. And I saw a lot of waves crashing on the dome, and everybody was just closing their eyes. And I know they were trying to do something because I was part of them. But I saw the waves and I was like, this dome is going to break at this rate. The waves are crashing. Like, hi, everybody, can wake up. You know, nobody listened. Everybody was just doing their own stuff, and then the dream sort of, and dreams are dream, right? It becomes like weird. You go into another place, and somehow I was in this tropical place like Thailand or something, and I was like on a tree house, and the tsunami was coming, and I thought a tree house would be safe, but apparently not. And then the tree house sort of fell, and I woke up. I was like, whoa, okay. I didn't think much about that dream until we finished the March trip, and I realized that okay, this is part of what we need to heal as priestesses in Atlantis and then in ancient Egypt. So that's the relation to Karnak Temple and Atlantis, and I think it's our guide that also said that he believes that this place is actually an academy. Karnak Temple is like an academy. An academy for what? Nobody knows. Perhaps for Atlantic, like mystery schools, basically. Mystery schools, ancient teachings, and all that stuff. So yeah, will receive some codes, the Atlantean Codex. Oh yeah, and talking about this, so I guess, when we mention, okay, so let's talk about this, how to unlock this codex. I think a lot of people have questions like, what are you talking about? Like unlocking this, and then what will we receive, and what's gonna happen? Codex is basically, at least what I understand from my meditations and certain things that come to me. Codex is like a file, like a zip file. When you download something and the file is too big, it's zipped and compressed. That file, to open it, some of these folders have a password. So the password is not just letters or words. This password is specific parameters of different things. So time is a parameter. Time could be a specific time like 11:11, the portal. A specific place could be the parameter, but also specific groups of people coming together is also another parameter, because a lot of these knowledge, teachings, technologies, they're sealed by high priests and priestesses of those timelines, of those lifetimes, and in ancient civilizations. Through how was it sealed? It's through the essence, the soul essence. I don't know how to translate it. Soul essence is like a direct translation from this term in Chinese called like yuan shen.
Okay.
Something like yuan shen, right? It's like we use the part of our energy, our soul, to seal these codes. And it's not just one person, it's a group. So perhaps that memory I had, that dream, was a group of us priestesses sealing something before that. Okay, now I remember now. Sealing something before the destruction. And I now know why I had such a emotional time in the Isis temple, and I felt like there was a time gap. Like something was not really right. Like it wasn't bridging. It didn't make sense why, yes, we all went to ancient Egypt and we were priestesses of Isis, but how come I'm feeling this sense of separation and this sense of guilt also? In fact, a lot of participants also did feel like there's this sense of guilt that something wasn't done or completed in that lifetime. So perhaps we were sealing something and we didn't seal everything in time. And some of it wasn't sealed properly. Perhaps, I don't know. So perhaps that was where the guilt was coming from. So yeah, the parameters. Why specific people are being called to groups to go to Egypt is probably because of that. Is part of the reason that we have to come together at a certain place at a certain time. And with us originally who sealed certain codes to go and unlock these codes. So what are we supposed to do? Actually nothing. We just gotta be together and we just gotta be together and go to that place. You might not even need to be there. So a lot of the times, actually, grid work or energy work or whatever this work is called, you don't even need to be, let's say, inside the temple or in the Great Pyramid to receive the energy. Actually, a lot of it happens already around it. So, yeah, thought I would share that because I think it's very specific people who are being called, yeah, for this trip.
Yeah, like when you were mentioning the unlocking and what it takes to unlock, I saw like this very long passcode, like of like many letters or symbols or whatever. And then it's like every person will have that bit of energy and frequency that is that symbol or letter, and everything will actually piece together. And it needs to happen at the right time, at the right place. And the right time is now. Yeah, because now we are ready. And that is also why there is so much new information about the pyramids that are surfacing and coming out. Yeah. Mm. And like what you said, not everyone needs to be there in person, but just by tuning in to all these things, just by being aware, just by seeking, looking for information, trying to find out, okay, I have this fragment of memory, what is it about? I want to know more about it. And just by seeking, you will actually slowly get more remembrance. And I think that's what is really needed at this point in time in all of us, like light workers, healers, star seeds. Yeah, to activate each other's remembrances. Yeah.
I think we both have interesting recordings of our quantum healing hypnosis session on our
Yeah,
YouTube
yeah, yeah.
channel, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
About our lifetimes in Egypt. I mean, I remember I
Your
had
lifetimes.
one. I remember I had one really, really weird. A couple of really weird ones. Yeah, but you can listen to that. I'll link it. We'll link it in the description box to that video or to those videos.
Yeah. My hair is like standing. I'm like trying to
Standing.
like smoothen it. Yeah.
Yeah, so this whole trip is going to be 13 days, 13 full days, right? Including the arrival. So 1st of November to the 13th
So
of,
13.
November. And we'll both be there. So you won't really know. I mean, if you're coming on this trip, you won't really know, who is from Peh Linde's community, who is from Shora's community. It's not meant to be known in a sense. It's supposed to converge, like how this trip is supposed to be, that there is no separation of this is yours, this is mine, I'm part of this community, you're part of my somebody else's community. Even in male and female, the gender, there is not supposed to be a separation. I think this needs to be brought up. It's quite important when we talk about feminine and masculine. I mean, we have both aspects of that within us. And I think for the wounded feminine and the wounded masculine, there will be that sense of when you hear people talk about the feminine, maybe the wounded masculine will be like, why? Why is it, the feminine? When we talk about the females will be leading this new age. Leading, I don't mean leading like ruling, but guiding everyone back to ourselves. We are all essentially just guiding each other home to ourselves. The work needs to be done by ourselves, obviously, but you can be a reflection of me, I can be a reflection of you, someone else. We are all mirroring each other. So we're all guiding each other home. And it's not about who's better or who's not, who's of a higher level or who's of a lower level. Like, these hierarchies are dissolving, and even the separation between male female is separating. So it's not really a fight of who's better and what to prove, but it's a merging, a unification. It's like the yin and yang, right? I'm remembering this very funny joke. Okay, it's the unification of feminine, masculine, and I think in Osireion temple and what's the other one, in the goddesses temple, and also in Osireion, because Osireion is very related to the myth of Isis resurrecting Osiris, putting the pieces of his body together to resurrect him. And I feel that it is such a symbolic representation of the divine feminine sort of holding that space for the masculine to heal. Because there's so much wounds and programming, conditioning in this world that we're living right now, that is telling the men, you have to be a certain way. You have to be the breadwinner. You have to do this, you have to do that. You cannot show your emotions because showing your emotions means you're weak. There is so much wounds around that it makes the feminine, the masculine, the word I always get is like hard, like there's a shell around that you have to toughen up, and you cannot be soft because softness means weakness. But the feminine is here to show that even if she is soft, she can actually also be fierce, but in a soft way. Yeah. So in Osireion, I think the males will have a lot of healing, and the feminine, the females are there to hold that space. At least the vision that I got, which I shared with you, is that would sit in two circles somehow. Whether that's possible or not is a different story, but somehow it's a vision I got, that the male, and then you said, oh, I have clarity now, that the male will be in the inner circle and then the females will be in the outer circle. And I saw the vision of the female's heart and opening up, and there was light coming out and all pouring towards the males in the inner circle. So that's going to be very healing, I guess, for everyone, but very specifically also for the men. And then in the goddesses' temples, it's showing also how the male can hold the space for the females. Hold the space, meaning not that you're less important, but in terms of the masculine energy, it is the structure that provides the safety and the structure, for the female, the feminine, to feel safe to flow. So it's like when a phoenix wants to fly really high, she needs to be grounded also. So what's this grounding energy? It's the masculine energy, whether that is her own masculine energy or a divine masculine in the physical form. Yeah. So
Yeah, when you were mentioning Osireion, suddenly an image came to my mind. I see this floor plan of the place, and like it's like an energetic grid and like a battery of sorts. But actually, I've never been into the Osireion before, and we have never been, both of us. Yeah, it's like at the back of the Abydos temple where we kind of walk by, and it's only accessible via private visits. So that's why we've never been inside. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why I saw that. So we'll see and see if it kind of matches what I saw. Yeah, and it feels like a healing space. Like the purpose in itself was meant for healing. Mm. And also, I understand that the water underground actually flows into that space, and it's because of the flowing water that's why it can actually energize this grid or this battery thing that I'm seeing. So, yeah, don't know. We are just piecing stuff together, piecing information together as it goes. So, yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah.
when you said that, I just wanted to say we didn't pick this up from the internet because a lot of the things that we get, it's not really conventional information that you find on the internet. And at this point, I've just given up on trying to validate or prove or confirm what I'm receiving, because you just can't find it online. And I mean, why waste time
Yeah.
doing that? There's so much information, different people saying different things. I think most importantly, it's the knowing and the feeling, and then just trusting it, because a lot
Yeah.
of these, so what I have felt throughout the past 2 visits in Egypt was that these temples, well, if you've been to Egypt before, we have both seen that there are a lot of these engravings, is that, or carvings? I don't know how to call
Carvings.
them. Yeah, very sophisticated ones inside the temples, and they are portraying a story of the kings and the gods, and it's interesting to see them, but at the same time, there's this knowing inside of me that is kind of telling me, oh, all these are, yes, important to acknowledge the history, which I feel like it's a very important piece when you're going to a foreign land, when you're visiting somewhere. I mean, even in your own home, right? To appreciate the history, but also know that history can be rewritten and it can be written to try to, I guess, say something, right? Whether that is 100% truth that it has happened or not, it's not really important, but more so the message behind it. So always have like, don't believe 100%, but appreciate it. So it's like taking yourself out of the picture and appreciating it. And when I was there, it felt to me that this is it only came during dynastic Egypt. When it was first built, these places, they're empty. So
Plain.
it's literally, yeah, it's plain.
Yeah.
It's literally for energetic purposes or whatever
Healing
purpose.
purpose.
Yeah, healing or transmitting certain energies. So one of our favorite place is the Serapeum. When we went in, I was like, wow, this place is a space station. I don't know why. I felt I went in, and then everybody, all the guides around us were saying, this is, the tomb, and like, you don't know how they
Yeah.
brought such huge pieces of red
Granite
granite, which is
stone.
like
Yeah.
super heavy, and it's only found in South Egypt. And the Serapeum is in Saqqara, so it's in more up north. How did they bring this heavy thing from there back then in one piece down into the underground chambers in one piece, and then lining them up like that? When I went in, I was like, whoa, this is like a space station. The first vision that I got was in those movies in the, what is it, I don't know, space station. people people would lie inside to go into this hibernation mode, right?
Time capsule or something.
Yeah, I think so. They would like go in and hibernate for however many years until someone finds them and saves them. So, and it also then brought back the visions or the memories of these scenes in Avatar, the movie, the where humans would go into this thing and they would sleep, and then the consciousness would be transported into the avatar to live out another life. That was what I felt like, oh, this is what it is. I was like, where's this coming from? I don't know, but nobody's talking about it. And I'm like, okay. So then we had a conversation, and you told me that it feels like it's a time travel device, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. And subsequently, actually only pretty recently, a couple of months ago, my friend, who is also a quantum healer, he did a session for me. And this Serapeum thing at Saqqara totally came up, and it wasn't even in my list of questions. Yeah, so okay, that reminds me I have more work to do. I haven't posted the video yet, but I will need to release it. Yeah, but yeah, so one of the main things that came through was that these boxes of like 80 to 100 tons each, all laser cut with precision, were actually tools that were used to actually train people. So, okay, yeah, it came with the knowing that actually in future, the potential of humans will be we will be able to exist in this physical plane and also at higher dimensions. And we can actually choose at any point in time which form do we want to exist in. Yeah, and so that is exciting. Um, yeah, so the purpose of these boxes actually they are actually training boxes. So for people that aren't able to just naturally, oh, now I'm 5D, now I'm like 9D, or now I'm 3D and I want to eat some nice food. If they can't do that yet, they will actually go into these boxes and be able to easily experience that, easily tap into the other dimensions. And once you experience that and you know what it feels like to just change a timeline, to just change a dimension, then once you are back and out of the box, you will be more easily able to tap into that as and when you wish. Yeah, so that was what came through. Yeah, it's like you can go anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I can go. And then now it's reminding me of this thing you shared recently about the sarcophagus that um, when you lie in it and specific notes, specific tones, and what will happen? You want to share that?
Yeah, it was during meditation where I saw that I was in the Great Pyramid, and this sarcophagus or stone box was actually, I mean, it's not a tomb, lah, okay? So it was
But we
actually,
all know that now.
yeah, I mean, everyone knows. Yeah, it was originally in the middle of the room or something. And when you lie inside and you tone or hum different frequencies, it will actually resonate that box because it's made of granite and it contains like 50 to 70% quartz crystal. So it really amplifies energy and amplifies your intention. So when you are inside and you tone different tones, you will be able to connect to different galaxies, different star systems, access wisdom from wherever you need information from. Yeah. So that was what I got. And I saw like the box spinning, like it can move like that. And then depending on how it turns, like the clock like that, like depending on like which direction it's in, you can tap into different places. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of lost ancient technologies that we will be remembering. And it's not just ancient, but it's also galactic. And we are actually bridging these two things together. Yeah. The ancient and the galactic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the convergence of
Past and future.
yeah, past, future. I mean, time, time is not linear anyway. So that was something that I received. When was it? I was in Bali and I was like meditating by the beach, and then I saw this. I saw this vision of the symbol that I received in my dream, like five years ago, maybe. I don't know. Five, four, maybe. I don't know. That was when I first sort of learned how to read the Akashic records, and I had like a week of waking up at the same time and feeling this feeling that it's like something is separating from my body, and
Wow.
and it's not an uncomfortable or scary feeling, but it's just a feeling I haven't felt ever before. So when I went through that, I had a dream of this symbol of a triangle and like a vertical line through it. And I received a lot of information about what it means. Like what actually activates the pyramid is our consciousness. It's empty space, and the pyramid is actually nothing until our consciousness is there. So the line initially I thought was me, a vessel for galactic codes coming to Earth. And then it's recently that it got shown to me that it's actually also another way. The direction is also another way, where it's the ancient Earth codes, or from these ancient earthly civilizations, inner Earth as well, that is coming up, and it's like merging within our vessel. So we are a vessel to harmonize the galactic codes and the Earth codes, and it's in this harmony and unification where the new Earth is sort of, it's already here. So basically tapping into it and anchoring the energies of it. Because like how it's funny, like how we mentioned the history, it's important to also acknowledge the history, even though this new galactic stuff is coming through. It's not just chasing that, but it's also appreciating the past, and sort of merging them together, or in that middle space of these two things coming together. Yeah, so it's very ancient. The feel is very ancient yet very futuristic. And then for me, I also recently have been receiving a lot of like things like shamanism. I mean, I'm not trained, but this shamanism thing has been coming through, and I'm like, whoa, okay. And then ancient priestess lineage. The feeling is very different from like a priestess of Isis. It's something else, but it's more earth based in a sense. Yeah, so a lot of earthly stuff is coming up, and then underwater civilizations also. So inner earth, underwater civilizations, and then galactic stuff coming through. So it's not about throwing away our past, but more so bridging these two timelines or dimensions together. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like at the same time also acknowledging our multi-dimensional selves. It's like we are this and we are also that and we are also that at the same time, and like, just acknowledging that and bringing them together. Yeah.
So I guess to wrap up, I think we're pretty much shared a lot of stuff that most of the information will be on our website anyway. So whatever we shared here is actually quite new. I realize it's not really a regurgitation of what is on our website. So
Correct,
okay, that's good. Wasn't expecting that. I thought it was just gonna be like, what's this trip about?
Yeah.
But if let's say somebody is thinking whether this trip is
For
for
them.
them, yeah, more so like they already know, but like that at that point I'm not sure. But I guess what would you say?
I mean, to be honest, like what I told you, I'll be like just grabbing my popcorn and just like watching and like, yeah, I mean, if you know, then you know, lor. And if you try to deny that part of you, the universe will be giving you signs and just reminding you that, hey, you agreed to this and you need to be here, that kind of thing. And so, yeah, eventually they will show up. Yeah. I mean, that's my point of view. Yeah. What would you say to them?
Damn it, I knew that question would come back. I'm like, damn, I shouldn't have asked that question because I also don't know. I also don't know what I would say. I would say, sit with it, maybe. Like I guess if you resonated and you watched to this point, you probably resonated a lot.
Yeah, 1 hour already.
Yeah, it's already one. Right when you said that, it was 1 hour and 11 seconds. Sit with it, because when I received the message to do the March trip, I was also like in denial mode. I was like, this is not hello, hello, this is not going to happen. I only have like 4 months. How am I supposed to piece this all together and gather the people in like 3 months? Usually these kind of trips are launched like maybe 6 months in advance. This timeline is pretty much still ample time for us to gather the people. Mine was like, and I remember asking Isis so many times, like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? She was like, don't worry. Those who are called have already received the calling. So you don't even need to do anything. Just put it out there and people will come. And then you will know who is right. And there will be no one more and no one less. So having experienced that, I think it's quite beautiful to observe and really witness that we are really just vessels to bring these people together to that place. Egypt is a land. Well, Earth is conscious. I mean, everything is conscious anyway. But I think Egypt has something to it. I still can't quite put into words. It's very medicinal. Also, that's why I said like this trip is not a. Yeah, we will have fun, but it's a soul remembrance. So after this trip, there will be, yes, it's the ending of this journey, but then it's only the beginning of our own personal integration, and there will be more. There will be more that unfolds. There will be more memories, maybe coming back, and yeah. So sit with that energy, and you can ask the universe for a sign, a specific sign. For example, I want to see something random, like a red car within. Well, I don't know if that's very unique, but whatever you find, whatever you decide to ask, and then receive that confirmation. But I think you will already know inside whether this is for you, and after a couple of days or weeks, maybe then apply, because after the application we will have a sort of like a call, right? Like a call where we will chat and we will answer any questions that you have, anything you want to know about the trip. It's also a way to get to know us more in a sense, and feel into our vibes and personality. So after that, then you will probably have more confirmation. And then on our side, we will also do our what's the word, due diligence in us, due diligence. We will also feel into your energy, because this trip, I feel there will be specific people. Then we don't know who it is now, but it's only after having a conversation where we like certain, then we will know. There will be further confirmation, and whether it's a yes or no. So it doesn't mean that you apply you will come. So the application doesn't mean that you are for sure coming anyway. So we will, both sides, it's like both sides will tune into it and then feel into who will make up this group of 22. Saying this is like, I don't know how 22 is gonna
So many
be.
people. Yeah.
I don't know how it's gonna be, because we have only done 9. So 9 is very, very intimate. I like it. People bring like 40 plus people and 100 over
200,
people.
like, I'm like, how does that even happen? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but we would like it to be close, and we like it to be intimate. So
Yeah. But I mean, so initially when you mentioned 22, remember I got like a shock. I'm like, 这样多人.
so many people, basically, that's what she said.
Correct. Yeah. And then subsequently I received like sort of like a calling or a message to go for this hiking trip with like this group of people in Turkey that I haven't met before, but they have this hiking group that I thought there would be like maybe 10 plus people that would be going, but in the end, like 29 showed up. And I was like, so many people. I was like, whoa. Like, I didn't know how it would be, because usually with such a big group of people, you have like all sorts of personalities and everything. But somehow during the entire hike, we would like, pass different people at different times. We would have like short chats with each other. And I just realized that everyone, every single one that I talked to, and I talked to at least 10 plus people, everyone was so wholesome and understanding and curious to know your point of view, even if your point of view is different from theirs. And I think it kind of just healed like this limiting belief in me that, you know, if you have a lot of people, there's bound to be like some that would like step on your toes or trigger you in some way. Yeah, but it's actually possible when everyone in that group is conscious and they are aware and they seek to understand. Yeah, and that's where there would be harmony, despite the large group of people.
Differences.
Yeah, differences. Yeah, lor. So yeah, it's my healing process also, doing all these things.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
It reminded me of this thing. So the 11:11. So as soon as I said the 11:11 thing, I'm a bit slow. I'm a bit slow to pick up some of these, synchronicities. I told you 11:11, and then only recently I was like, oh, 11:11. I mean, we're having our trip, and our Great Pyramid is going to be on 11:11. Like literally 11:11
11.
converging. Two groups of 11 converging in the pyramid. And then this is the funny story. Well, it's not funny, but it's quite mind blowing. We were at the this resort in Cairo, right, for our March trip, and my room. Okay, when the person handed me the card for the room, it said room 1111. And then I just got, I don't know what about that room. Does it even exist? Because I mean, what are the odds, right, that I would get a room 11:11, and then only now I realized, like, holy crap, it's 11. It's telling me 11:11, and there were so many times there were instances where I have to say my room number during breakfast, or like somehow I got lost by the pool area and I wanted to like find my way back. and I would ask like the people working there, room 11:11, like 1111 for once, and they would look at me with this like they would pause and they would smile, or they will ask, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, yes, like 1111. Does this room exist, right? And they're like, yeah, yeah. So I don't know what about it still, but I remember when I told my mom this story recently, she was like, is this room ancient? Not ancient, sorry, Asian moms will be like, this room, like, for sure something weird happened there. Not supposed to have anybody stay there.
Okay. Oh my god, yeah, Asian moms.
Yeah, Asian moms would be like, oh, those horror stories or horror movies of how certain
Yeah.
rooms in hotels are like locked because weird stuff happened.
Bad stuff happened, yeah.
Yeah, and then she's like, "You live in that room? Like that room isn't supposed to be, not supposed to have anybody staying there." I'm like, "Huh? No, 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 no." The vibe was very nice, and everything was nice. I had my singing bowls, and I was like, playing it, cleansing it, and it's nice. I could fall asleep well, so it's not weird, but it's just interesting. Like, was it in another dimension or like a portal to somewhere? So yeah, it's funny.
Yep.
Yeah, so those are the synchronicities that we have been getting. And I believe that there will be more. Like, there are a lot of layers to this trip. Perhaps what you read on our page and what you hear from our conversation today, there's so much more. Like, there are undercurrents of it, and I feel like this is it's alive. This trip is like live. It's like a living transmission where even if we didn't share it, at some point I was like, oh, I actually want to challenge this limiting belief of mine that I have to promote this. I have to share this, I have to put it on my YouTube, I have to put it on my stories. I kind of want to not share anything, and I want to see whether people can feel into it. Because it is a living transmission, and those who are really called will receive something, and somehow they will text me and send me an email or a private message. So I don't know, but yeah, let's play around with that. And I believe this whole conversation has also gridded the journey. Yeah. So thank you for joining us. It's 1 hour 11 minutes. Thank you for joining us. And if you're interested, yes, check out the links in the description box below. Yeah.
And what we have are only certain pieces of the puzzle. So if you have other pieces, feel free to let us know, and we can piece this co-creation together.
Yeah. Especially if you have interesting stories or like dreams about a lifetime, or messages that are coming through,
or even just a knowing.
Or even just a knowing. Yes. Okay, that's it.
Bye bye.
Thank you, and hopefully see you on trip.